see this, guys? 3 racks of ribs that I'm gonna show you how to do this on the Pitboss Platinum Block Car. We're gonna be doing ribs 101 for beginners. And guys, whew, it's gonna be so simple, easy, and amazing. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Smoking Jazz Barbecue. So y'all stay tuned. These ribs are gonna be good and delicious at the end. I promise you that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of your screen, you got some beautiful pork spare ribs that I got from Costco's, and I only paid 27 bucks and 30 cents for these beautiful ribs. They came in a pack of 3, guys, as you can see right here. And check out the beautiful color on these ribs. Oh man, check out the marbling in between each and every single bone. Ooh, baby, they are gonna be so good. And these are St. Louis style cut of ribs, guys, because they took off the breastbone that goes right along the top of these spare ribs. And they are not full spare ribs whatsoever. So they are just St. Louis style cut of ribs. Man, they are looking good, guys. Wow. So guys, a little pro tip: when you go to the grocery store, always look for some beautiful ribs that has the marbling in between each and every single bone. The marbling equals fat, which fat equals flavor, and that fat not only helps flavor these ribs up, but helps retain moisture throughout the whole cook for these ribs not to dry out. So man, fat equals everything on these pork spare ribs, St. Louis style. And guys, the second pro tip that I want to give you is that when you go shopping, always look for the bones that are standing up. It's just more for presentation, for that wow factor. Not much more than that, guys, because it does not affect the cook. It does not affect the flavor, but it just helps you present a better looking ribs at the end of your cook. So man, these are looking phenomenal. So what we're gonna do, guys, is take it to the sink. We're gonna rinse off any debris that might have been inside the packaging, and we're gonna show you how to trim them up next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next step we're gonna do straight from the sink is we're gonna feel for any excess debris that we didn't catch the first time, meaning any foreign objects that might be sharp, might be bone debris, or anything or that matter. So we wanna make sure that nothing is on this slab of ribs. So before we go any further, as you can see right here, we got some heavy duty aluminum foil that I'm covering all my surfaces up. And the reason for that is gonna help me clean up a lot easier later on down the line once we finish trimming these beautiful ribs up and also season these beautiful ribs up, because at the end, there is gonna be a lot of rubs sprinkled all over the place. So this is gonna be coming in handy just to ball it up and throw it in the trash. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna show you how to take off the membrane right here. So some people like to keep the membrane on the ribs itself and like to cook it that way. Some don't and some do. Most restaurants will not take off the back of the membrane off because they seem like it's not necessary. And some people will just score it with a knife in order for it to render off. But this particular membrane will not render off, will not melt down whatsoever during the cooking process. So I like to take it off. You don't have to do that whatsoever. So in order to do that, guys, I like to use a butter knife and some paper towels. And what we're gonna do is go into the third bone right here and just insert, as you can see, just like so, right between the membrane and the bone. Oops. And all you gotta do is peel back, and you're gonna use your thumb and you're gonna lift the membrane up. And you're gonna keep going further and further in. And in some cases, you're gonna have a nice piece of membrane all at once, and in some cases you will not. You might have to repeat this process several times in order to take all the membrane off. And as you can see, I'm having some luck with it. And at this point, some of the membrane and fat came off, and here's the membrane. What you can do at this point, use some paper towel, capture the membrane, part of the membrane, and as you can see, you can pull it off just like so. All right, so the next thing you want to do is use your butcher's knife and trim off this extra flap of fat right here, just like so. And you want to make sure you have a nice sharp butcher's knife or any type of knife that you have in your kitchen cabinet or your kitchen drawer, I should say. And these are like a little bit of fat that's going to take a long time to melt down, so we want to trim that off as much as possible. And if you see any silver skin, guys, take that off as well. It doesn't have to be pretty, guys. This is just backyard barbecue. But as you can see, there is a lot of marbling in between the bones, and this is what I'm after. So we got our beautiful St. Louis style rack of ribs right here that's trimmed off to my liking, guys. And as you can see, between the fibers and on the meat itself, there's plenty of moisture all around, and even on the back of the ribs. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but man, we don't need no binders whatsoever. Some might use like yellow mustard, you can see just like this, or oils or Worcestershire sauce or anything like that to make a binder for the rubs or the seasoning to adhere to the ribs itself or the meat itself. But there's no need for that whatsoever because there's plenty of moisture remaining and left from the ribs itself. And today's seasoning and or rubs that we're going to use is going to be simple as SPG on one rack. And this is 50% of coarse black pepper, 50% of granulated garlic, and 25% of kosher salt. Mix well, and all we're going to do is apply it on both sides. So the next thing we're going to do, guys, we're going to apply our rubs onto these beautiful St. Louis style ribs. On this particular rack, we're going to use SPG, as you can see right here, and the other two racks of ribs that we have remaining, we're going to use hickory bacon. So in order to apply these rubs correctly, we're going to apply the rubs from this particular distance, which is about, I don't know, 8 inches, 7 to 8 inches away from your particular meats in order to coat this evenly and nicely. On the bottom rack of the ribs, we're just going to apply a light thin coat because there's not a whole lot of meat on the bottom of the ribs, but we're going to apply a nice generous amount on the top of the ribs. So always shake your bottle before you apply any rubs or seasonings onto your ribs, just to make sure everything is incorporated correctly and it's going to adhere to these particular rack of ribs or your meats, whatever you're using. And always pat your rubs in, guys. Never, ever, ever rub your rubs. Even though these are rubs, they're not meant to be rubbed into the ribs itself or any meats at all. The reason for that, guys, because it can cause pockets of baldness. And what I mean by pockets of baldness is some parts might be seasoned and some parts might not be seasoned at all because you're rubbing the rubs in. We're going to flip these over and apply the same amount, or actually a little bit more, onto the top. And there you have it, a beautiful coated, patted down, generous amount of SPG. So we're gonna do the same thing and apply the same rubs on this particular rub on the other two. As you can see, we got 3 beautiful rack of ribs that are perfectly seasoned, and the first 2, as you can see right here, they are seasoned with some beautiful hickory bacon from Pit Balls, and the last rack of ribs right here is just some good old SPG, as you can see right there. And we're now going to just let these beautiful ribs rest and let them sweat out for a good 10 to 15 minutes so all the flavors can adhere to the ribs itself. So before we start our pit bulls, today's wood flavor is going to be the competition blend, which is going to be hickory, maple, and apple. Man, this is going to be so good, guys. And we're just going to pour it into our hopper right here. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know how the saying goes, but instead of using the Austin Excel, I'm going to use the Lockhart because that's what I'm preferring today. All right, guys, so we just want to start the power and open our lid and wait for the rolling smoke to come on through. All right, guys, I have to apologize to you because I was not filming when the rolling smoke happened, but it just happened just now and the rolling smoke just went out, and we're just going to close our lid and crank our temperatures up. So we're going to go from the S setting, which just stands for smoke setting, to 275 degrees. And we're going to let this come up to temp before we put our ribs inside our beautiful Pit Bulls Platinum Lockhart. All right, guys, we've been running about 278, 279 at this point for about a good 15-20 minutes. And let's take a look at our beautiful, man, St. Louis style cut of ribs. Oh man, they're looking beautiful, guys. On the 2 ends, we got the 2 rack of ribs that are seasoned with the Pit Bulls hickory bacon, and the one in the middle is just SPG, man. Oh man, they're looking so good right now. We haven't even cooked them yet. Man, these are gonna be so good. So I'm gonna place these ribs inside here, but before we do that, guys, we're gonna use a little bit of canola oil to spray our grates. At this particular point, you want to make sure you stretch your ribs as much as possible, because the way they are placed in is the way they're going to come out. So you want to stretch it out to the max and not trying to ruin that rubs that you already applied to these ribs. So as you can see, they're nice and stretched out. Insert to this one, and there we are. So all we're going to do, guys, we're going to cook them to color. So we're going to try to use that 3-2-1 method, but more than likely it's going to end up 2-1-1. So again, we're going to check on it each and every single hour and then spritz it. All right, guys, as you see, we are looking at 278 right now, and it's been about a good hour at this particular point. So let's take a look at our beautiful St. Louis style ribs. Oh man, they're looking really, really good, guys. Take a look at that. Oh yeah, they're looking great. So just to speed up the process a little bit, I'm gonna spritz it with a little bit of apple juice, which is I have here, and just to caramelize it. The colors are coming along just great, guys. Oh, some good water. It's nice and hot today, guys. Wow. We got some summer-like type of consistency, and I'm standing in front of the Pitbull's Platinum Malt Cart, and I don't know if you can see the smoke is coming off of it, and it smells so good right now, guys. I'm drinking water because I don't want to pass out in front of you guys, because that will be really, really bad. Oh man. The only perk that I'm getting, guys, is a nice big whiff of that beautiful competition blend, which is that hickory, that maple, and that apple. Oh man, it smells so good. I wish you guys was here right now. Oh man, it smells so good. Whew. But anyway, guys, let's talk about the step-by-step process of what we did so far. We took our beautiful St. Louis style ribs, and then we cleaned them off nice and clean at the sink. We took a little bit of light trimming on them just to get rid of the excess fat that was on it, and then we pulled the membrane off the back of the ribs. And then we seasoned one particular rack with some SVG, and the other 2 racks, hickory bacon. If you never had this stuff, guys, try some right now. Go to your local Walmart and get you some of this rub right here. It is phenomenal. I'm trying to tell you right now. And guys, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna place our ribs inside, which we already did, and smoke them for about a good 2 hours till we get to that brown mahogany color that I'm looking for. We're gonna spritz with apple juice every single hour just to help them caramelize and help them get to that brown mahogany color that I'm looking for. Once we get to that particular stage, we're gonna pull them off. We're gonna wrap them nice and tight. We're gonna add some parquet. We season it, throw it back on the grill, and then let them cook up till we get to that nice tender consistency. We're gonna do a probe test at that particular time after the 3rd hour, maybe hour and a half, depending on how tender they're gonna be and how moist they're gonna be. Once we get to that particular stage that we are looking for, which is they are nice and tender, then we're gonna sauce them up with some beautiful, beautiful Sticky Fingers Memphis style barbecue sauce. And this was recommended by one of my good, dear, loyal subscribers, and her name is just passing by, and she says I gotta try this particular sauce, and which today I am. So to my favorite country girl, this video is dedicated to you, because we're gonna sauce these ribs with some Sticky Fingers Memphis style barbecue sauce. So just stay tuned. I'm gonna show you how to do this. All right, guys, as you can see, we're running about 278, 279 now, the way we maintain temp. And let's just take a little gander at the hopper. Oh man. And as you can see, it didn't take too much of the wood pellets to flavor these beautiful ribs that we got going on it. I didn't fill the hopper all the way up. I just did about 3/4 of the way. And since it's 2 hours, let's take a look at a beautiful, oh yeah, mahogany brown color ribs. Oh man. As you can see, we got some nice pullback right here on these particular racks. And some of these are starting on this side, as you can see. And this one is starting to pull back just a little bit right here and towards the back. So guys, I'm gonna pull these off because I'm not looking for the pullback as a guide, but I'm looking for the brown mahogany color as a guide for me to pull these babies off and wrap them nice and tight. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna meet you back in the kitchen. All right, guys, so before we wrap our beautiful St. Louis style ribs, this is the SPG one. Take a look at that, nice and moist. Before we wrap this up, we want to talk about the wrapping techniques for the methods and using what type of material. So I'm using heavy duty aluminum foil to wrap my ribs up, and I'm going to use a double layer heavy duty aluminum foil. You don't have to go in this direction. You can use butcher's papers or not wrap it at all. In order for me to finish this method and this cook, I'm using the 2-to-1 method. I'm going to wrap these beautiful St. Louis style ribs with some heavy duty aluminum foil. So let's turn to the back, and as you can see, it's still nice and moist. We're just going to spritz it with a little bit more apple juice, and this is the SPG one, so I'm using a little bit more remaining of my SPG, and I'm just seasoning it lightly, and I mean really lightly. All right, let's flip her over. Do the same thing. And by spritzing the apple juice, it's going to also act as a binder for the reseasoning aspect of this. So again, just really lightly. And we're going to add some parquet on top of this one. The simple ribbon method is just going to be just like so, nice and tight. So again, as I stated earlier, I like to use a double layer, and just in case any of the bones might punch you through the foil, we want to make sure we have a second layer to protect it. And there it is, guys, just like that. So we're gonna finish the rest of these ribs, and I'll meet you back on the pit boss. All right, guys, as you can see, we're 271 at this particular point because we had the lid open, and it's rising to 272 at this point. So we're gonna keep it at 275 for another hour, and we're gonna see you back in about an hour. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you see, we are maintaining temp, and it's just risen to 276. And it's been an hour at this point, and we have these beautiful St. Louis style ribs that have been wrapping, and it's been tenderizing for a good hour. Oh man. So let's take a gander at one of them to see if they are probe tender. Let's take the one in the middle, which should be my SPG. And a little tip, guys, as always state in my other videos, when you open a pouch up just like this, be careful because the steam can really burn you. So take your time and please be careful. See what I mean? Oh yeah. I think these are done, guys. Let's take a look. Right between the bones. Oh yeah. No resistance whatsoever, guys. Oh, I hit a bone, hit a bone. Hit a bone. Oh yeah, hit a bone. Look, the meaty part. Just like butter. So these are done, guys. I'm gonna take these off, check the rest, and I'll meet you back in the kitchen. Take a look at that, guys. Look, bend test. These are done, guys. Wow. All I'm gonna do, guys, is sauce them up, give a nice glaze, and let those sauce, that particular barbecue sauce that we're looking for, to tack up. All right, guys, as you can see, we're maintaining 10. We're running about 278, and it's been about 15 minutes at this point. And let's take a look at our beautiful, oh my goodness, St. Louis style ribs with the sticky finger Memphis style barbecue sauce. Let me pull this out a little bit more. Oh man, take a look at that. The sauce is tacked up nicely. Take a look at that, guys. Oh yeah. Alright, guys, I'm gonna pull these babies off, and I'll meet you back in the kitchen. We're gonna let them rest for a good 10 minutes before we slice into them. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we've got some beautiful St. Louis style ribs. These are the ones that we use the hickory bacon with, and season them up with that, and then we decided to glaze them up with the sticky fingers Memphis original, and man, they're looking gorgeous. I mean, again, the bend test to show you that these are done. And these are the rack that we use the SPG on in order to keep it pure and simple. So what we're gonna do now is flip them over and then slice into them to see what they are looking like inside. All right, guys, so we're gonna slice right down the center. As you can see, we flip these ribs over to see the bones in order to guide us where to slice them at, and we can slice them nice and even. Oh yeah. Oh man, take a look at that, guys. SPG. Oh man, SPG, guys. Take a look at that. Still moist and moisture on the inside. This is why I tell you guys to choose the best marbling on the ribs. Oh man. Let's slice into the other ones. Take a look at that, guys. Wow, look at that smoke ring. The ribs is almost gone. We haven't done the taste testing. Well, I haven't done the taste testing. Here comes my son right here, my boy, Cruz, and I'm sure he wants some, but as you can see, she already finished the rib off. Sorry. But let's do a quick recap of what we've done so far so we can get to the taste testing part, or I can get to the taste testing part. Oh man. So guys, we took beautiful ribs that we got from Costco. They St. Louis style ribs. We cleaned them off nice and clean at the sink, and then we did a light trim on it to get rid of all the excess fat that was on it. All we did is pull the membrane off the back of the ribs, and then we seasoned one particular rack with some SPG and the other remaining 2 racks with some Pitfalls hickory bacon. This is some phenomenal stuff, guys. All we did next, guys, after we seasoned to perfection, we let them sweat out for about a good 15 minutes, and then we took it to the Pitfalls Platinum Lockhart and smoked it for about a good 2 hours. We're using the 2-1-1 method in order to do this particular cook for all you guys that are beginners. And all we did, guys, after that second hour of smoking, that we saw that brown mahogany color, we pulled them off, we wrapped them nice and tightly, we added some parquet, a little bit of apple juice, and we re-seasoned each and every single rib. And we place it back into the Pitfalls Platinum Lockhart to smoke up and tenderize for another hour. Once they were tenderized, we did a probe test as you saw in the video clip to see how tender they were, guys, and they are so tender, they are just like butter because she just finished it off. So, and then after we took them over, we decided just to glaze the 2 with the Pitfalls hickory bacon on it and kept the SPG version of that particular rack of ribs clean and simple and original. We used the Sticky Fingers Memphis style original sauce, and again, big shout out to Just Passing By. She's been a subscriber since day 1, and I appreciate your loyalty, and thank you so much for the suggestion for this particular barbecue sauce. So now it's time for me to get to the taste testing part, guys. Wow.
Can I taste test too?
Yeah, I guess, why not? So, you want the big one?
No. Cut that.
Just eat this.
That's too much.
Oh goodness. Anyway,
Give me a bite.
well,
Oh.
look at that smoke ring, guys. Beautiful smoke ring. This is just the SPG. So I'm gonna take a bite and give it to my wife. Take a look at that. Clean bite. Here you go.
I get the bit rib.
There you go.
Okay.
And this is the one with the sticky finger glaze when she's leaving. So take a look at that, guys. Smoke ring as well. Beautiful. Still moist. Still juicy right here. I don't know if you can see the glistening. Oh man. And this is the one we use the hickory bacon with. Look at that. Clean bite again. Wow. Finger looking good. Oh man, these were phenomenal, guys. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to do St. Louis style ribs or baby back ribs or loin back ribs for beginners. This is nothing hard about it. It's very simple. It's very something that you can do at home, because if I can, so can you. It's very simple to do, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you share this video with all your family and friends. And my boy's enjoying that rib right now, because I promise you he's really enjoying that. So guys, until next week, this is Smoking Jazz Barbecue. Oh, don't forget to subscribe, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button right now. What are you waiting for? Hit it right now. We'll see you next week, guys.